On April 9, 2024, James and Jennifer Crumbley heard the words that would change American law forever: 10 to 15 years in prison. The Crumbley parents became the first in U.S. history to be held criminally responsible for a mass shooting committed by their child, establishing a legal precedent that would forever alter how courts view parental liability when warning signs are ignored and weapons are left unsecured. 3 years earlier, on November 26, 2021, James Crumbley bought the gun authorities believe was used in the shooting at an Oxford store with his son, according to Oakland County Prosecutor Karen McDonald. The father brought his 15-year-old son to watch him purchase a 9mm Sig Sauer SP2022 pistol, a decision that would later prove catastrophic. Around the same day, the alleged shooter posted a photo of a handgun on an Instagram account with the caption, "Just got my new beauty today. Sig Sauer 9mm with a heart eyes emoji." Even more disturbing, Jennifer Crumbley also posted about the gun on social media over the weekend, saying, "Mom and son day testing out his new Christmas present." The warning signs were impossible to miss. During the weekend, Jennifer Crumbley took her son to a shooting range, treating the deadly weapon as a casual gift rather than recognizing the responsibility that comes with firearm ownership. By Monday, November 29th, a teacher noticed Ethan Crumbley searching the web for ammunition. The teacher notified school officials, who contacted the parents via phone and email, but they did not respond. The next morning brought an even more chilling discovery. On Tuesday morning, another teacher found a drawing on Ethan Crumbley's desk that essentially depicted a shooting. It alarmed her to the point that she took a picture of it on her cell phone, the prosecutor said. The illustration showed a semi-automatic handgun pointing at the words, "The thoughts won't stop, help me," and it included a drawing of a bullet, a cry for help that should have triggered immediate intervention. The distressing picture led school officials to hold a meeting with Ethan Crumbley and his parents, who were instructed to help provide counseling for their son within 48 hours. During that meeting, Ethan Crumbley had the gun in his backpack, which was not searched. Here was the moment when tragedy could have been prevented. The weapon was literally feet away from school administrators, the Crumbleys, and the troubled teenager who had just drawn pictures of violence. But the Crumbleys made a devastating choice. They resisted the idea of taking their son out of school, and he was allowed to return to the classroom. They prioritized their work schedules over their son's obvious mental health crisis. That morning, looking at that drawing, it's impossible not to conclude that there was reason to believe he was going to hurt somebody, Prosecutor McDonald later said. At 12:50 p.m. on November 30th, 2021, Ethan Crumbley went into a bathroom with a backpack. 1 minute later, he walked out with the 9mm Sig Sauer SP2022 pistol, firing shots at classmates. Authorities say at least 30 shots were fired, killing 4 students and wounding 6 other teenagers along with 1 teacher before he was taken into custody. The victims were 17-year-old Madison Baldwin, 16-year-old Tate Meyer, 14-year-old Hannah St. Juliana, and 17-year-old Justin Schilling. 4 bright futures extinguished because the Crumbleys failed to act when every warning sign pointed toward catastrophe. At 1:22 p.m., 7 minutes after the first news reports came in of a shooting at the school and before any mention of who was responsible, Jennifer Crumbley texted her son, saying, "Ethan, don't do it." At 1:37 p.m., James Crumbley called 911 to report a Sig Sauer SP 2022 handgun as missing and that Ethan could be the gunman at Oxford High. Their belated panic revealed they knew exactly what their son was capable of, and they had failed to prevent it when they had multiple opportunities to intervene. After seeing that disturbing drawing with the gun and the words, "The thoughts won't stop, help me," would you have forced your child to come home from school that day? Drop your answer in the comments below. But the Crumbleys' decision to leave him there wasn't their only fatal mistake. 3 months later, on April 9th, 2024, the Crumbleys faced the emotional reckoning that would cement their historic conviction: the families of the 4 victims. Madison Baldwin, 17, Justin Schilling, 17, Hannah St. Juliana, 14, and Tate Meyer, 16, addressed the court in victim impact statements that transformed the courtroom into a space of raw, unfiltered grief. Nicole Beausoleil, Madison's mother, spoke through tears about the parallel lives she and Jennifer Crumbley had lived in the months since the shooting. "While you were purchasing a gun for your son and leaving it unlocked, I was helping her finish her college essays, Beausoleil told the Crumbleys. When you knew the gun was missing, you called the police, knowing it was your son that took it. I was having family call every hospital describing what she looked like. While you were hiding, I was planning her funeral. She continued, when you were on the phone for 10 minutes with each other trying to figure out where the gun was, I was on the phone with her father and family trying to figure out where she was. Your Honor, I request that the maximum sentence be enforced, as it will never come close to the life sentence I was given. Judge Cheryl Matthews sentenced James and Jennifer Crumbley to 10 to 15 years in prison, the maximum allowed. Sentences that exceeded Michigan's sentencing guidelines by more than double. In her ruling, Matthews addressed the historic nature of the verdict. The advisory sentencing guidelines in this matter do not capture the catastrophic impact of the acts or inaction in these matters. She framed the sentences as a deterrent, pointing to the parents' repeated failures to act. These convictions confirm repeated acts or lack of acts that could have halted an oncoming runaway train. The legal precedent was immediate. Never before in U.S. history had a parent been criminally convicted for manslaughter in connection with their child's mass shooting. Within months, that precedent was invoked again. On September 4, 2024, Colt Gray opened fire at Appalachia High School in Georgia, killing 4 people and injuring 9 others. His father, Colin Gray, was arrested on 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, 2 counts of second-degree murder, and 8 counts of cruelty to children. Charges that would have been nearly impossible to bring before the Crumbley convictions. Legal experts immediately recognized the seismic shift. Ekau Yanka, a University of Michigan law professor, explained the concern within the legal community. One might think that with such a painful and unlikely event, and the way prosecution treated the Crumbleys as such remarkably negligent parents, that we just wouldn't see a case like this again. But the thing that worries legal experts is, we know that law lives in precedent. And once you have a precedent, it's the most natural instinct for a prosecutor to use that precedent. Oakland County Prosecutor Karen McDonald, who secured the convictions, acknowledged the weight of what she had set in motion. I hope it leads to more prevention of gun violence, she said. I hope it leads to people taking more responsibility. I don't want a situation where a lot of prosecutors are charging people or parents for things that their children did or are doing. Yet the precedent was now irreversible. The Crumbley case established that when parents ignore clear warning signs and provide access to weapons, they can face criminal consequences as severe as if they had pulled the trigger themselves. For the first time in American history, the law recognizes that some tragedies are not just the result of a troubled child's choices, but the predictable outcome of parental negligence that courts will no longer ignore. Subscribe if you want more landmark legal cases, and watch this one next. It goes even deeper.